The other dynamic of this, before we move on from it, is, the reality that the landing spots for Kirk Cousins have been pared down to virtually nil at this point. And again, I don't think that giving $3-4 million to Joe Flacco takes him out on Kirk Cousins, but you don't really have necessarily the need to do it, and certainly not the confidence it's going to happen. The only other team right now that you're wondering who their starting quarterback is the Steelers, who are still waiting on Aaron Rodgers and simultaneously having every able-bodied draft quarterback come through the building. You and I talked last night with Shedeur Sanders, the first interview I think I've ever done with a draft prospect who is at the airport leaving his visit. It was a very interesting conversation. You've talked with Shedeur before. That was my first time really having an extended interaction. I thought it was informative that he talked about Mike Tomlin reminding him of his dad and the traits and the values. I don't want to put words in Shedeur's mouth. There'll be no gotcha on this show about anything that he said. But I did get that sense. There's a lot of people who really like playing for Mike Tomlin. And I just got the vibe from him that he's like, man, I don't want to go 21, but this would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, but that's always kind of what people think about the Steelers, right? Like, It's like, well, like, there's a reason they haven't been able to get a franchise quarterback since Ben, and the reason is they're always pretty good. And that's just really hard to take, a guy who's going to be a franchise quarterback at 21, because if you're a quarterback and you're going 21, that means if you were any other position, you'd probably be like a mid-second rounder. And again, like if you take someone in the middle of the second round, it's hard to find a starter there. It's not impossible, but it's harder to find. I have thoughts on Shedeur in a sec. Well, I'll answer your Shedeur thing. They remind me to answer your Kirk Cousins market thing in a second. I like talking to Shedeur. He was incredibly thoughtful. He views sort of the criticism world, the hot take world, the like, I'm going to pick you apart world, kind of the same way that I do with Instagram and Twitter comments, which might be why I like him so much. Because like he knows they're out there. He kind of laughs a little bit, shakes his head and rolls his eyes, addresses what he sort of kind of needs to address, but knows it doesn't really mean anything. Like a couple players talking on Twitter about whether or not he pats the ball, like that barely even contributed a narrative to our world. That probably lasted 2 hours and then it was gone. And I think he really, more so than many other players, really understands the nature of like the 24-hour news cycle and how meaningless a lot of it is, especially in like the hot take world. I kind of like that, like he's been criticized his whole life. He's had a spotlight on him his whole life. I'm really starting to believe, like, I'm not talking about him on the field. On the field, the evaluators will make whatever evaluations they have, and he'll be ranked however he's ranked in the buildings. But off the field, I have a hard time imagining a quarterback is better prepared for whatever spotlight he's going to get. Like if he gets to New York, that's a lot. I mean, it was a lot for Daniel Jones. Eli was kind of used to it, but like, let's say the Giants take him at 3. There's no prospect better prepared for the Giants or whatever than Shedeur Sanders.
And that competition, that quarterback room in New York would be just utterly fascinating to see how it all plays out. I mean, this is the thing, regardless of where Shedeur goes, and we all know the potential quarterback teams in the draft. It's the Saints, it's the Steelers, it's clearly the teams that are drafting 1, 2, 3. In all those places, the expectation, regardless of who else is on the roster, is going to be, well, Shedeur is going to play sooner than later. Why would he not? That's not always the case, but more often than not, it does go that direction.